Hello, and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox on the Series X. Been a while since I've poked at Space Engineers, and I decided that I would just randomly put it on and do a build / tutorial just out of the blue on making one of my drones that I like to make. It's a little remote control drone. I've made them before, but I used to make them in a kind of tower fashion. I started to experiment and poke around with different designs, and this one I quite like, although it may differ from the one I use myself. So I've built a little platform here. Now imagine if this platform, I'm on creative by the way, but imagine if this platform was connected to your main base and your power. When you're building in survival especially, you won't actually get any power to your build unless you use a rotor. Most people prefer to use a landing gear, flip it over and just stick it down, pop it down, build on top of it. So a small landing gear, lock it onto the platform and do the old small grid that way. But I want to build a small grid, and the way I tend to do it is I pop in the left stick. Now you'll find rotors have been moved to mechanical as part of the new radial. It's still taking me a while because I haven't been on Space Engineers all that much, but we've had the Economy 2 update, which is pretty cool and a lot of fun with new features, including the services terminal, which you can use in survival and also in creative, although it only works as a salvage and repair terminal on NPC trade stations, not on your own, but you can use it to store grids, which is very, very useful. Anyway, so we pop down a rotor and we're going to just grind off the head, and then if you pop down a little control panel like so, go to your rotor here. Now I pressed X to access the control panel. What you want to do, first of all, add small head, and then you want to lock this rotor to stop it moving, and this will become our little build platform. If we go all the way to light armor blocks, then you'll see that we can cycle through our blocks until we've got our light armor block, and we can just happily build a little tower of blocks. Now that tower will be connected to any power on that grid and provide recharge as you're building for any batteries you attach to your drone or your build. So I want to start out with a couple of, flick across to power, a couple of batteries, and I'm going to use the warfare batteries because I like the look of them. And I think I'm just going to build this 2 batteries like so, because what we want to do is we want to add hold on a moment. We do have the inset connector block now. So what I could do, you have to bear with me as I flick through this new wheel. It's rather different. So we've got the small inset connector here. We've got the inset connector in general, which we could then put one like that. We could balance it out by having the two batteries. So if I go back to power, or press Y, go to recent blocks, and there's my batteries. Just get rid of that. And we want to flip our warfare battery like that. So that will become our central part of said drone, and we will have power there. And then we're going to need a few things. So we're going to flick through till we get to control. We're going to pop a remote control block right now, so we don't forget it, because you're going to need a remote control block. And one of the things you can do as well, press X on that, go all the way to info, go all the way to the small grid name, and rename it whatever you want. And then hit OK. Now, we're also going to save. And we can't, if I remember rightly now, quick save or quick load with the old button combination, because they use those buttons for something else. You can quick load if you want by opening up the RBY panel, going down from there to replay tool and choose reload world. That will let you load your save without having to go back to the main menu. Anyway, here we go. So this is the body of our drone. We're going to need now some forward momentum and some lift, and at least some downward, even though we're on a planet with gravity. Because we're creating a remote controlled drone, we're going to need to actually add our thrust down. So one of the things we'll want as well, we'll want a few cameras, and we will want at least one camera below and one camera at the front. So before I forget, trying to remember where they put the cameras in, we're also going to do something a bit cheeky. And this will help us with the remote control aspect of the drone later on. Right, popping on. So you have to bear with me, I haven't done this for a while, I'm a little bit rusty. And so on. And it's been absolutely ages since I've done anything. We're going to pop an antenna on as well. We're actually going to use the parabolic one, because we can stick it like that. There's our sensors. We don't want that. I've probably gone past it. Don't want that. Let's go back this way. probably missed it, and people are shouting at me, "You've missed it." Yes, this is what happens when you haven't played for a while and you are legitimately still looking at this radial going, but my memory remembers all of the old wheel. Still, it's all good. There it is. I was looking for the other camera. So we can have, if we want, a neat looking top mounted camera, and then for our bottom, and we want to spin it so it's like that. Do another save. Oh, I do miss my I think it was LB and X or whatever it was. I'm not going to try it because just in case it changes the setting. So we have a way to connect some battery power, and we're going to require thrust, and since we're planet size, we're going to do atmospheric thrusters, and we can play around with these how we want, and they are quite cool. We can also use the little ones. I think I'm more inclined to go for the larger atmospherics. It'll make the drone a bit more let's see, get that in the right place. Come on, I think that's got it. Yeah. I'm just deciding whether I want it to have a more traditional balance to it, like so. And you have to remember that with thrust you need to equalise it on all directions, and you could get away with flipping it like this actually. So this will provide us with a really cool footprint for the drone. So that's down and up sorted. Now what we can do is we can switch tactics to the little thrust drones, thrusters for the drone. Pop a couple here. See if I can get them in the same place, because that's... I don't know if I like them on the battery or whether or not I want them forward a bit. Kind of neat. I like that. And then and they're square. So we put another two at the front. Another two at the back. And if you want to change the axis of rotation, just press down on the D-pad and you can see the axis quite clearly with the line. It will tell you which way the block will rotate. That should, in theory, have all the thrust it requires to actually scoot around. We've got an antenna, we've got a remote control block, and we've got a few other things. Which is pretty neat. So what we're going to do first, because half the fun of this is cutting it loose. Actually, let's stick back this way. Choose a light. Have a look. Let's see. Well, the corner light double's kind of neat. Especially if it's rotated that way. I kind of like that. Right, let's save this. And the reason that we put a control seat on the back like this is so that we can test our thrusters. See things are working how we want them to. Let's make sure we've got that right on this side. Yes, we have. But not on the other side. So you see, that's an important part of having this as this. So what we'll need to do here is very, very carefully remove that, and then these are half blocks, so there for that one, and there for that one. So what would happen with that? That's better. Push that way, push that way, push that way, that way. Okay. Well, the moment of truth. Part of this. Let's pick any old block and just hold down the left trigger and cut the thing free. And RB and B will pull any block you're using out of your hand, and pushing left bumper and up on the D-pad will give you a change of view, and if you want to alter the camera, hold both bumpers and flip the right stick around. You want to reset it, just push up on the D-pad again with RB held. And now we've got our little drone. It's got quite a lot of downward thrust, so we've got to be very careful there. But we have, as they say, lift off. And one of the things now we can do is we can set this up on the internals. Save it again. And go into our control panel. And you'll see we've got our thrusters. So if we search specifically for just the word thrust, you'll see all of them are there. And if you press A, and then you can select the range. You can do it by pressing RB and just A to take on and off things. You can hold down, if I remember rightly, both bumpers. Is it both bumpers or is it left bumper? It's left bumper. Yeah, they changed it after one of the updates. So you can select your flat atmospheric thruster and then hold LB and then just select all your thrusters in one. I think that's every single one of them. Once you've got them, flick across with the left stick to block group and just name it something. I've called it that and save. That'll now make us a nice little group for controls. And so we could put that onto our bar for when we're going to do some stuff with the drone. But this is your build of the drone so far. It does have a camera, so we can link these cameras. So we're going to do that. We're going to push up on the D-pad and we're going to find our front camera, which is our top mounted camera, and we're just going to put view, and then we're going to do down on the D-pad. I'm going to go for our lower camera. I'm going to select view there, and then when we push up we have the front camera, and when we push down we have the down camera. And that down camera will be very useful if we're trying to control the drone remotely. And what you can do is you control it remotely from a chair or a control station. The best way to do that is, well, what we can do here is we can extend our little demonstration thing, and we're just going to do the classic popping down our see, where do I want this? I want this just about there. And then say it used to be so easy to do this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to have it up in the air so you can see it easier. This thing's offline, so fortunately we can just pop down. We still got the batteries on our... No, we don't have the batteries on our recent blocks anymore. Just going to stick down a Warfare battery just to bring the console online. And one of the reasons that we've got this... Oh, there's one thing we missed. You see, that's why I love testing things. One thing we need, of course, a good old gyroscope. And it's always a bit tricky with the small grid working out which way is best to put it, but I tend to like that. And now we have motion. We can turn the damn thing. There's always something you forget. And the reason we have the lower camera is that we can use it to help us locate our little... I think it's probably need to come forward a bit more. Let's exit the camera view, see how close we are. Oh, not bad. There we are. A rather aggressive landing. And we can add this as well onto our D-pad. We'll use the inset connector there. Actually, before we do that, what we shall do is we shall rename our inset connector to D inset connector so that we can see it easier on the list. And you'll see that it's moved in the list. And we just want switch lock. And there we have it. Our little drone is now sitting on that platform. So to control it, all we need to do is to come to the platform, and then we want to do remote control, and you should see the listing control. Now when we hit control, you'll notice we're in remote control. If I hit A, there's the thrusters on the drone. One thing as well that I want to do, just briefly, for our little base of operations, I'm going to pop an antenna onto this thing, and we'll just dial up the broadcasting range on that. Save. So back to our little control seat. Back into control. Now we're in control. We need to do a few things. One, we need to make it so we can actually launch this thing. So again, de-insert connector, switch lock. Then we want our front camera so we can actually fly it. with view. On our bottom camera, so we can try and dock it when we're done. And that we could also add our corner light. Toggle it on off. And then now we should be able to look through any of the cameras, unlock our drone, and now we're in control of the drone while sitting in our little station. And we've got a couple of hours of flight time with the 2 batteries. It can come back to the station. Obviously your station will have power like that, and you can lock it on, you can recharge it. You can, if you so desire, put a couple of solar panels, maybe the angular ones, pop them on the build, and then you'll have a self-recharging drone in the day. And there you go, that's it. Slightly longer than I wanted it to be, but that's fine. It's the first proper Space Engineers video I've done for a bit. So there you go. Hopefully it gives you some inspiration for your own. And hopefully you enjoy the Economy 2 update and the rest of the updates that the game's had recently on console. It's all been really quite good. It's brought me back into the game a bit more. And yeah, watch for more videos as I start to ramp up my production schedule. I will be coming back onto YouTube, clawing back my sort of presence, as it were. Now I'm feeling better, touch wood. But I'll say thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.